Most gardeners think cardboard is completely harmless in the garden. They hear it's the perfect weed barrier, an ideal sheet mulch, or a simple way to smother grass and start a new bed. And for years that advice has been repeated online and in gardening books. But here's the part nobody talks about. Not all cardboard is safe for your soil or your plants. And if you've been using it blindly, it could be quietly hurting your garden's health without you realizing it. This isn't just theory. I've tested this in raised beds, backyard gardens, and even container systems. What I found surprised me. Some cardboard, especially modern printed boxes, introduces chemicals, blocks oxygen, and changes how water behaves in the soil. That combination can weaken plant roots, disrupt microbial life, and reduce yields, the opposite of what most gardeners expect. Before we get into exactly what's happening and which cardboard is safe, I want to mention a small tool that has become indispensable in my testing. I use a 4-in-1 soil moisture meter, digital plant temperature and soil moisture test, and pH meter and sunlight intensity, with a backlight LCD display. It might seem simple, but this little device prevents huge mistakes. Cardboard affects moisture retention more than most gardeners realize. I've seen soil beneath cardboard either stay too wet or dry unevenly, killing roots without anyone noticing. The meter immediately tells me whether conditions are safe for plants. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. Now, let's dive into the first problem with cardboard chemicals and coatings. Modern cardboard is rarely pure paper. Shipping boxes are designed to be strong, water-resistant, and printable. To achieve that, manufacturers use glues, resins, and sometimes inks that contain heavy metals or petroleum-based compounds. Over time, when these boxes break down in moist soil, those substances can leach into the root zone. In my own tests, I noticed slower growth in beds where glossy or heavily printed cardboard had been applied year after year. The soil felt off, and beneficial microbes were less abundant compared to areas mulched with plain brown cardboard or organic material. The next issue is thickness and oxygen restriction. Cardboard works by smothering weeds, which means it's designed to block light and slow water loss. But that same property can also limit airflow to the soil if used too thickly or layered repeatedly. Plants need oxygen in the root zone, and soil microbes rely on it to process nutrients. If the soil becomes anaerobic under a thick cardboard layer, plant roots can suffocate and microbial activity declines. One of my raised beds, with 3 layers of cardboard, became noticeably less productive until I removed the top layers and added a lighter organic mulch. Water behavior under cardboard is another overlooked problem. Cardboard holds water differently than soil or organic mulch. It can create pockets of saturation that last longer than the plant needs, while other areas dry out. Uneven moisture can stress roots and promote fungal growth. This is exactly why I use the soil meter I mentioned earlier. By measuring moisture levels beneath the cardboard, I can see where water is pooling or failing to penetrate. Without that data, gardeners are basically guessing. So, what's the solution for serious gardeners who still want to use cardboard but avoid these pitfalls? First, choose the right type of cardboard. Plain brown cardboard with minimal printing is ideal. Avoid glossy coatings, colored inks, and tape. Second, use it as a temporary layer, not a permanent mulch. One thin layer is enough to suppress weeds while a new bed establishes itself. Once the bed is ready, cover the cardboard with organic mulch, such as straw, leaves, or composted material. This allows air, water, and microbial life to move freely while protecting the soil surface. I've tested this combination across multiple scenarios. In raised beds, one thin cardboard layer topped with a 2 to 3 centimeter layer of straw keeps weeds down for the first season, and then the soil beneath thrives for years afterward. In container gardens, a thin cardboard layer under composted mulch slows evaporation without suffocating roots, while a soil moisture meter ensures water is reaching every part of the root zone. Even in backyard plots where grass was previously dominating, This method allowed me to convert areas with minimal tilling, keeping soil structure intact. There's also a subtle advantage that most gardeners don't consider: protecting microbial life. Cardboard that breaks down too slowly or contains chemicals disrupts the delicate balance of bacteria and fungi in soil. Healthy microbial populations process nutrients, support root growth, and improve disease resistance. When you use the right type of cardboard in moderation and cover it with organic mulch, microbes flourish instead of being suppressed. Over time, this creates stronger plants with bigger, more consistent harvests. It's worth noting one more thing about layering cardboard. Leave a small gap around plant stems. A common mistake is to pile cardboard directly against the base of plants. That constant moisture can encourage rot and fungal issues. A gap of 2 to 3 centimeters is all you need to maintain airflow while keeping the soil covered. Finally, think of cardboard as a tool, not a solution. It's effective for suppressing weeds during bed establishment, but, long-term soil health comes from proper mulch management, organic matter, and careful monitoring of moisture and pH. That's why I always keep my 4-in-1 soil meter handy. It's a quick check to make sure my cardboard isn't creating hidden problems. Knowing the exact moisture, temperature, and pH allows me to make informed decisions rather than just guessing based on surface appearance. In my experience, gardeners who ignore these factors often blame poor growth on nutrient deficiencies or improper watering, when the real problem is actually oxygen limitation, chemical residues, or uneven moisture caused by cardboard. By being selective with cardboard, using it temporarily, and monitoring soil conditions, you can leverage its benefits without harming your garden. If you care about growing strong, healthy plants and want to avoid subtle mistakes that reduce yields, it's worth revisiting how you use cardboard in your garden. Small changes in material choice, layering technique, and soil monitoring can produce dramatically better results than just blindly following common advice. Serious gardening is about understanding soil biology, root environment, and plant needs, not just applying tricks from the internet. By combining knowledge with practical tools like a soil meter, you can grow healthier, more productive plants with fewer surprises. If you're ready to take control of your garden and make smarter choices for soil health, subscribe to Husbandry. Share this video with another gardener who's serious about long-term results, and let's start focusing on what actually works, not just what looks convenient. Your soil, your plants, and your harvest will thank you.